Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Mac and Talk episode 34. Today is Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. I am your facilitator, Chanelle Allen. Mac and Talk is an open forum Q&A conference call for anyone with Mac questions or for anyone wishing to become more proficient with the accessibility features. Maybe you are trying to decide whether the Mac is the right device for you, or you've purchased one, it's sitting around for a while and you need help getting started with VoiceOver. Or perhaps you've been using your Mac for a while but have a question about an app or feature. For whatever reason, I am so glad that you have joined us now, tonight, or later on via the recording. In order to keep things running smoothly and to preserve a great call quality recording, we have a few rules, mainly that you just stay muted at all times unless asking a question or making a comment. I will go over our procedures for that in just a minute. Just know we do not use the raised hand feature. And now I'm going to launch into our iBUG social media and announcements. The best way to keep up with everything, because I certainly don't have time to talk about all 20-some plus of events that we do every month, is to go to our website, ibugtoday.org. There, in addition to checking out our current events tab, you may register to become a member. Registration is free and participation in all training and social events is free. By registering, you will receive emails of our upcoming programs. And you can also listen to recordings of previous workshops, learn more about who we are, and donate. As a matter of fact, we have a special raffle going on right now where if you donate $10, you are entered into a chance for a $500 Apple gift card, and that drawing will take place on our iBUG anniversary celebration in May. And if you purchase 6 tickets, you can pay $50. So how about that? All that info is on our iBUG Today website. If social media is more your style, you prefer to consume all your information that way, well, we are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Our Facebook group is facebook.com/groups/iBugToday. In addition to our announcements, it's a great place for people to pose questions and exchange information in between calls. Also, for Mac users, we do have a Mac and Talk discussion group. If you go to our website, ibugtoday.org, look for the Mac and Talk link, you will find the information for subscribing. And if you need to contact me, my email is listed there as well. And finally, we are at iBUG Today on Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is a great place where our Twitter master, Herbie Allen, posts lots of Apple news, particularly stuff related to the Mac, lots of how-to guides, and useful info. In addition to our announcements, even if you don't have Twitter, you can just go to twitter.com/iBugToday and read up on everything there. And if you like YouTube, if you find it easier just to listen to things on YouTube, we have a channel, iBUG Today, where in addition to our previous workshops, the lessons from the last class have been posted there. And once this current class is done, and I'd like to especially welcome my students, once this class is done, those sessions will be posted to YouTube as well. If you prefer listening to podcasts, well, you can find us in your podcatcher or smart speaker of choice. Just look for iBUG Buzz. Speaking of iBUG Buzz, we have several events coming up. I'll begin with what we have this week and then go into next Monday. But on Thursday, we have It's iBUG's Life from 6 to 8 p.m. Central. All times are Central, and everything takes place at the same Zoom ID and link. And It's iBUG's Life is facilitated by George Batiste. He discusses various topics of independent living. This month, the discussion will be all about spring cleaning. On Friday, we have iBUG Night at the Virtual Movies. This week's feature is Coda, and you may join in the fun beginning at 7:30 with the pre-movie social, followed by the movie at 8 and a discussion afterwards. On Saturday, we have the iBUG Apple Workshop. It is a great place to come to hear all the latest with Apple, rumors, all that good stuff. And our members give great demonstrations of fun apps or useful apps, and we get to enjoy those. And on Monday, we have the iBUG Buzz. That is a Q&A conference call for anyone with iOS and iPhone, Apple TV, all those related questions. You can ask your Mac questions here, but on Mondays, it's solely devoted to iOS. That takes place from 7 to 9. That's every Monday. And stay tuned to our Clubhouse because on Tuesdays, we alternate between the Mac Buzz, which is very similar to Mac and Talk, and the iBUG Mini Buzz, which is similar to iBUG Buzz. And that is from 5 to 6 p.m. Okay, that's a lot of announcements. Now it's time for introductions. And what you will do is unmute, say your name, wait. First of all, find a good place in the conversation. This is for asking questions. Find a good place in the conversation where there's a break. Say your name, wait for me to acknowledge you, and then ask your question or make your comment. Once you're done with that, then please go back on mute. But for right now, just let us know who you are, where you are calling from, and if this is your first time joining us for Mac and Talk. I'm Chanelle Allen in Houston, and I've been facilitating this since, 2020?
2019.
2019, okay.
At least
Awesome.
the fall. My name is Brad, and I'm in Dallas.
Hi, welcome, Brad.
This is
My
Judy
name is
from.
Kim. Whoops. Go ahead.
Okay, Judy, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. Judy from Connecticut.
Oh, great to have you. Welcome, Judy.
Thanks.
Kim,
And I am Kim from Indiana.
welcome.
John
Happy to
in
have-
Wisconsin.
Hi, John.
Michelle
Southern-
Hughes.
Okay, Michelle.
Yes, I'm sorry. Michelle Hughes from Marlboro, Maryland.
Great, welcome. And Dan,
Yeah, Southern California.
welcome.
be
Glad to have you.
Kathy.
This is Harry in Reno.
Okay, welcome, Harry. Glad you could join us again. And Kathy.
Yes, this is Kathy from Boston.
Hi, welcome.
It's Diane from Atlanta.
Hi, Diane. Glad you could join us too.
Thank you.
I'm Darcy in Canada,
Welcome.
and I know some of you from Clubhouse, but this is my first time on one of the Zoom things.
Awesome. And how did you hear about Mac and Talk? I guess on Clubhouse, right?
Yeah, the thing earlier today, the
Awesome.
Clubhouse thing earlier today, I heard about it. So
And I know you have a Mac.
I do.
Awesome. Well, you're welcome here. Glad to have you.
Thanks.
Bumi from Toronto.
Oh, welcome, Bunmi.
Thank you.
Tim from Linwood, Washington.
Yay. Hello, Tim, and welcome.
Jim from Bellingham, Washington.
All right.
And I've listened to Darcy Bernard for years on his podcast.
Yes, he does a good one. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
awesome. All right, thank you.
Shree from Virginia.
Hi, Shree. Welcome.
Elisa and Porter, and it's just kidding.
Well, yes, it's your first time in a while, so you're
Yeah.
welcome. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Jan from Ohio.
Oh, Jan, welcome. And I think you've been with us before, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Well, we're glad to have you back.
Suva from Houston.
Suva, welcome. Glad to have you here too. Okay, well, if that is everyone, and just feel free at any moment to introduce yourselves with a question or whatever. Who would like to ask a first question tonight?
Michelle.
Michelle, yes, go ahead.
I am really slow, even though this class is very helpful, and I'm looking forward to being able to spend more time what you have to offer. And have already started working on my MacBook, and I feel like I need to go buy another computer with another laptop that got some keyboard that makes sense to me.
Oh,
But I'm not gonna quit. So, um, is there anything else that Apple had besides the MacBook? That's
okay. Anything else you're talking you want to know about other Macs, or you want to know
oh,
like
oh
what other devices Apple offers?
yeah. The Apple has some other type of laptop that's not Mac, Macintosh or whatever.
Okay. Well, who wants
This
to?
is
Yeah,
Brad.
yeah, Brad, go ahead.
Well, Apple has several different laptops, but basically they're all pretty, from the user point of view, they're all pretty much the same. I mean, the difference in
Okay.
them is specifications of processor and a lot of other technical stuff.
Right.
But but as far as the basic user experience, they're
Mm-hmm.
all the same. The keyboard is pretty much the same. They all run
Okay.
the same operating system. I mean, that is the Apple. It's a Mac, and
Right.
it's no that they're pretty much all the same.
Okay. Well,
This is
thank you
super.
so much.
Yeah, Suva, go ahead.
So, is this just a keyboard? You like a different style of keyboard, or like, am I just getting it? Is the OS giving you problems, or is it the keyboard? Because if it's just a keyboard and you like a different keyboard, there's a lot out there, and you just easily get a Bluetooth keyboard and connect that, and it's good to go. If you
Oh,
don't
I
like
can
yeah,
go ahead.
if you don't like the laptop keyboard, that's what I mean. But if it's something else, then yeah, you would rather have maybe get something else. But am I understanding the question correctly, or?
Well, I like the Apple products. Everything I have is it's an Apple product. This is the first device that I'm being challenged, and I was wondering if there's another way. Now, did I hear you say that I could get a keyboard that will work with the Mac?
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, I
This
didn't
is
hear you.
this is Brad.
Hmm.
Michelle, which model MacBook do you have?
I have MacBook Air.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. So
yeah,
and it has F keys, not one of the MacBook Pro models that had the touch bar. So
yeah, okay. Now, when you say touch bar, are you talking about um, the pad that's in the front of
no,
the
that's a
key?
touchpad. For
Oh, touchpad.
several years on the MacBook Pros, they replaced the F keys with a touch bar, and it
Oh,
was similar to perhaps it replaced the F key, so it was long and skinny, but what was
yeah, yeah.
on it would change, and there was different ways you could have it set up. Um, it's not a simple answer, but it was not mechanical F keys, and some people loved it, some people hated it, and Apple has eliminated it from the newest models of the MacBook Pro, and it was never on the MacBook Air, and that's a good thing. One thing you might want to look at, though, the Apple default way of doing things is to make those F keys hardware keys. That is to say, when you press on certain things and F1, F2, it may make your keyboard backlight brighter or dimmer. F5, F6, it may make your screen brighter or dimmer. F7, 8, and 9 does your media functions, play, pause, go back, go forward. And F 10, 11, and 12 is your volume and muting. your things. And then to make your keys perform as normal F keys, you have to hold down the FN key, which on your Mac keyboard is the front row closest to you on the extreme left-hand corner. And there is a way in your keyboard preferences, there should be a checkbox to reverse that behavior. And some people like it as is. Some people, like myself, I prefer to reverse it. If I want to access any of those hardware features, I can hold down the FN key. But if I want to use the F keys as F keys, and there are many voiceover commands that do use the F keys, you hold down the VO modifier, and they will perform certain voiceover functions. Even though that FN key is right next to the VO modifiers, for years I used an Apple keyboard that was older and did not have an FN key on my desktop Mac Mini, and I wanted the behavior on my laptop and my desktop to be the same. So I changed my laptop to be so that the F keys performed as standard F keys. And if I wanted to, I would push the FN key to use the hardware. So if that is something that is an issue for you on your MacBook Air, you might look at that toggle. And it's a checkbox, I should say, in your keyboard preferences.
And if you want a review of that, you can listen to our last lesson so I went over that. So
Okay, cool.
Yep.
This is
Thank you.
Shri.
Yes, Shri.
Yeah, I just
Thank
wanted to,
you.
it's Michelle, right?
Yes, Michelle.
So Michelle, I just want to say two things. Number one, we all started where you're at. So
Okay.
it is a it's a
yes.
journey, and it's an interesting journey, but it's an
Yes,
enjoyable
it is.
journey as long as you keep working on it.
Okay.
I started with the MacBook Air also. When I first got my first Mac was the MacBook Air. The only thing that I would suggest is, at least for me, it was easier for me to type on an external keyboard, especially a keyboard with a numpad on it. It's a little bit wider than the MacBook Air. It's a little easier on the fingers to hit the key, especially if you're not really, speedy with the keyboard. I would suggest just getting an external keyboard.
This is Judy.
Yes, Judy.
I just wanted to echo Sri, Michelle. I took the course. I bought a Mac Air a year and 4 months ago, and I tried to read everything I could, and I took Chanelle's wonderful class, and I am a slow learner too, Michelle. Oh my God, and I worked at it last December until last May. And then I felt like I just wasn't making any progress. And I just closed the lid. I said, I just need a break. And I didn't even open the lid again until September, this past September. And I was determined, Michelle. I said, I was going to learn this. I'm going to learn this.
Yeah.
And it took me, I guess, what am I at? 7 months now of just really being patient with myself and just going over those classes, almost sentence by sentence. And it started finally, little by little, making sense. Yeah, little by little. I mean, so I just want to offer you encouragement that it does feel
thank you.
overwhelming,
because
but
I need the encouragement.
yeah, oh my gosh.
Yeah, because I'm like, I love technology. I've always been this way.
Yeah.
And this MacBook has really gotten my goats, I'm like, I don't understand why I can't understand this,
You will. I mean, it might be a year and 5 months, but you will understand it. And you're going to be so, I might experience just joyful when you get it. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you all. I
Judy is
appreciate that
so encouraging. And John, let's go to John.
I think a good way to look at it, and I'm going to give you a little bit of analogy. When I was working, I tuned pianos. When I started tuning pianos when a sophomore in high school, there's roughly 230 to 240 strings on the piano. I'll get through this real quick. Hang on. So when I would start off tuning, my first piano took me 5 hours to tune. I would tune one string on, geez, I got 229 to go. Now, and you don't have to really know much about tuning, but there's different segments of the piano. So what I did is I broke it up in chunks. Okay, I would tune the middle section. Oh, that's done. Then I would do the treble section, whatever. But once I broke it up in chunks like that, it was not as overwhelming. So it was a lot easier to get through that instead of you doing, let's say, doing 230 strings versus breaking it up in chunks. There you go.
Gotcha. And I'm a piano player, and I understand what you're talking about. Thank you.
Well, then when you learn a piece, you I don't know if you play it by ear, but when you learn a piece, you don't learn that piece all at once. You don't. Okay, then you take it measure by measure or whatever.
Okay.
So that's how you can. So the Mac is the same thing. You're not gonna wake up tomorrow morning knowing everything. Well, of course, nobody does.
Yeah.
But so just break it up for yourself a little bit.
Okay. I appreciate that. I really do.
Thank
this
you,
means a lot.
Thank you, Michelle, for the question. And
This is Darcy.
okay, this will be our last comment, and then we'll move on to a new topic. So go ahead, Darcy.
Okay, I was just going to say to Michelle, I don't know if when you first got your Mac, if you did the little voiceover tutorial that you get when you first turn it on, but if you didn't, it's worth going back and revisiting that because it really teaches you the basics in sort of an interactive way, and you can if you get like that helped me a lot because when I first got my Mac, that was all I really had. Right, I turned it on and the voice told me if I want to do the tutorial to press whatever it was to press, and that's where I started, and I think some people maybe skip that, and I think if it's worth doing if you haven't.
It is. And that's what I recommend in my class. And it's one of those things I should have done probably. I listened to the podcast. I was just, okay, I'm going to, listen to so-and-so. But yeah, I think if that is definitely a good thing. The tutorial is there. And, in this class or in any training, any articles you may read online, whatever, I just love the piano analogy because I used to, but you learn. I may be teaching you several pieces in the class, but I hopefully am able, in teaching you those pieces, I do break them down into measures or bars or whatever, and then that gives. So anyway, thanks so much everyone for the input. I love tips on learning. So all right, who has our next question?
Bunmi,
yes, go ahead.
How do I get right option T to tell me just the time and not date and time?
Okay, would like to answer Bunmi's question. I can tell you, this is Chanelle, I'll tell you that I basically modified the Apple script. So I took the date out of my script, and that's not very helpful, but the nice thing about Apple script is it's written and you can understand. I know nothing about scripts. I know nothing about, I just like to get in there and play around and cause all sorts of trouble. But I didn't, you just you make a separate copy, you find it in the library folder and under scripts, and then you could just kind of look at it. But I don't know if anyone else has an easier way, or if there's already some pre-written scripts out there that don't have the date in them.
This is Brad.
Yeah, Brad.
For a long time, I've never used the keyboard commander where what is it, the T for time?
Yep.
Is that it?
Right option T. Yep.
I've always just hit VOM twice, and then it's on the far right end of menu extras. And I've been able to modify that to say what I wanted to say. And you can do that in your menu bar and preferences. That's what
true.
I've always done.
Yeah.
And that's pretty simple in there. There's some navigation quirks right now. I haven't checked to see if they fixed
and isn't that under dock? I think.
Yeah,
now it's under menu bar and dock. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
That's what it is. But sorry, old school. I've been various versions of the Mac.
Yeah, I know. It used to be. Yeah, it used to be in a time and date thing. So I get it.
Yeah, exactly. And they've incorporated some things into menu bar and dock under system preferences.
Right. So
This is Shri.
yeah, Shri, go ahead.
So Brad, I'm trying to remember. Isn't it like if you just simply navigate, you're going to miss it? Because isn't it like it skips it and then you had to like right arrow or something to get to the other side?
Yeah.
Oh God, I haven't done it in a couple of months. There was, and I haven't looked at it since the latest update, last couple. There was something where you would go into menu bar and dock, and there's a sidebar with all the different categories, and you can navigate in it and using VO shift down arrow to interact with it. And as you would VO right arrow to move down the list, it wouldn't read everything. But if you just don't interact with it and just use plain arrow key navigations, it reads it better. And then once you've landed on the correct item in the sidebar, forgive me, I hope I'm not wrong because it's been a couple of months. I set it and I don't have to go back to it. Then I VO right arrow out of it and then move to where I need to go and set my time in the menu extras the way I want. Now I'm going to have to look at it. Sorry. I'm good at doing it, but if I don't do it every day, I forget the little intricacies of it.
Yep.
And there was a quirkiness because of a bug.
There was. You had to not interact at a certain point or use the down arrow or
down arrow. And it's pretty much all the way at the bottom.
Right.
I can't remember if it was the last item or the second to the last item. God, now I got to go look at it.
Yeah. It's a great question. So, all right. Who has our next question?
This is Diane.
Yes, Diane.
It's kind of crazy because I heard the answer a while back when I was on this, but how do you get your Mac to announce the time, like hourly, 15 minutes or whatever? I forgot what he told me.
Oh, that is also in that same area. Or if can anyone help her out with that? How to get the Mac to announce the time on that hour, half hour,
quarterly or whatever.
Yeah.
Brad.
Yes, Brad.
It's in those preferences for menu bar and dock, which by the way, I'm looking at it. And when I navigate that, it's sidebar, but it calls it a table, but it is a sidebar to those of us who still have a little bit of sight.
Right.
And it's the third item from the bottom. It says menu, it says clock menu bar, and then you navigate VO right arrow and you're over here to date options. And then you go through here and there is an option in here to announce the time every hour or every half hour or every 15 minutes, but that's where you go for it.
Thank you so much. It was you that answered the last time, I remember.
Oh, it was? Okay.
My guru, yes.
That's
my guru
probably
Brad.
the last time I looked at it.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Brad.
All right. And yeah, I do see that time thing. So excellent question. It's good to review some of these things that it's easy to forget. So
yes, excuse us, Brad, I just found it. There's a checkbox to announce the time.
Yep.
And then there is a pop-up button to choose how often you want it to announce the time. And like I said, hourly, on the half hour, or every 15.
Excellent.
Thank you for making me go look at this again.
Yes. Thank you. All right. Who would like to ask our next question?
Elisa.
Yes, Elisa.
So I was wondering because I know there's different Zoom clients. I think I'm not sure if I'm asking this question correctly. I forgot my question now.
Okay. Are you wondering how to get Zoom or how to use it once you have it, or what
I mean, is there different Zoom clients for the Mac? Because I tried looking for it yesterday and it seems like there's a lot.
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
There are two. If you go to zoom.us/downloads in your web browser, because you're not going to find it in the Mac App Store. You have to go to the Zoom website. So zoom.us/download. And it will it will be able the Zoom will be able to tell through your browser what platform you're running it on. And it will know if you are running a Mac or a Windows PC or some other desktop operating system, Linux, Chrome, something like that. Now, there is a button in the middle that says download Zoom or download now, something like that. And if you use VO navigation and navigate VO right arrow, either one or two steps, there is another option to download the Zoom client for an M1 Mac running Apple Silicon. And those are the only two choices for the Mac. Now, either one will run on Apple Silicon. It will just, if you're running Apple Silicon, the one for Intel will the Mac will prompt you to install a converter called Rosetta 2. And you don't even have to worry about it. But the key word is, if you're running the Intel one, the one for M1 Mac will not run on it. So,
because my mom. Sorry, Brad.
Go ahead.
No, you good, Brad?
Repeat that.
I said you can continue.
I'm sorry, I don't understand.
I think he was done. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought I wasn't sure.
No, that was it. There's just two for the Mac.
Because this is Lisa. My mom was looking at it on the App Store, and I was like, I don't think you go to the App Store.
No, you don't.
This is Brad. If you're looking for it on the iPhone or iPad, you will find it on the app, on the iOS or iPad OS App Store, because that's really the only place you can get things for the iOS platform. But on a Mac, there is a Mac App Store, but there is also a world of possibilities that exist outside of the Mac App Store.
Yeah, because I was like, I don't think you go to the App Store. I knew I was right that you didn't go to the App Store. I was like, I know you go to zoom.us. That's why I was like, Mama, you don't go to the App Store.
All right. Well, good luck getting it and installing it. And
I may need assistance once I get it installed, how to use it. Oh my God.
Well, we're always here to
I'm scared.
ask for next time. Yep. Anyone else want to have some comments for Elisa on just getting started with Zoom?
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
One more thing to be aware of. When you install it on the iPhone, it's going to ask you permission to use the microphone, permission to use the camera. You're going to run into some similar stuff like that on the Mac as well. And it may have a couple of other security questions. It may prompt you to open privacy and security in the system preferences. And there is a couple of things you have to enable in there. But if you just read the prompts and be patient and pay attention to what the prompt says, it will guide you through it. There's some security on a Mac that doesn't exist on your Windows desktop that exists on a Mac. But the Zoom, you will be prompted by either Zoom or the Mac OS to do what needs to be done.
Great. All right. Excellent question. How we get connected socially, participate in events online. That's really important. So who would like to ask our next question?
This is Kim.
Yes, Kim, go ahead.
I didn't even pay attention the couple times I've been on my Mac, but does the Mac have a device that changes your time for you? Last weekend when we had to switch the times, did my computer do that, or do I need to go do that?
Who would like to answer? Kim.
This is Darcy.
This is Diane.
Okay, Darcy and then Diane.
Oh, I was just going to say that it does automatically do that. It will automatically change the time. You won't even notice. But if you want to make sure that that happens, you can go into, I think it's in date and time preferences, and there's a checkbox. But if you have your time zone set correctly, which you should, because it happens by default, it should automatically adjust itself. You shouldn't even have to worry about it.
Great.
Okay.
Okay, and Diane?
I was going to say the same thing.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'm glad our Macs and our phones just do that for us.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
I want to add to that. I went to California last week, and as soon as I used my Mac for the first time in California, it adjusted to Pacific time. And as soon as I came home, turned it on, it adjusted back to Central time. So
awesome.
It takes care of it for you. It just knows through your IP address or something, your location services where you are, and it'll adjust all that stuff automatically. You don't have to even worry about it.
That's so cool because I have 1, 2, 3 electronic clocks around here. 2 of them have to be reset and 1 doesn't.
Yeah. I found that the Mac and iOS, the Apple stuff generally tends to be more automated and reset it for you better than the other things I've used. So, great question.
It just works.
Yes, it does. Awesome. All right. So, who would like to ask our next question?
This is Jim.
Yes, Jim.
So I have an old MacBook 12, 2012. And so I'm wondering, it will not run Monterey. I have Big Sur on it and having struggles with that. But anyway, so I'm curious, if I decide to buy a new computer, what would I have to look forward to with Monterey? Is it an improvement over Big Sur? That was my question.
Great question. Does anyone have an answer for Jim?
This is John.
Yes, John.
I think, Jim, one reason you're having a problem with your with the MacBook, the 2012, pretty much I'm going to guess that's a rotational drive, and it's formatted to Mac External Journal, and from Mojave, from Catalina up, it requires APFS. And I don't think you can really do that on rotational drive. You can, but it's not really recommended. So what kind of problems are you having with Big Sur? And I still think that's part of the reason.
This is the MacBook Air, so it does have the internal electronic drive, but it's just acting squirrely right now. This is probably not the place to get into it, but once, like the mail, once I updated the latest update, then mail quit working properly. So I guess I'll figure all that out. But so I'm just curious if anybody has started using Monterey and what improvements that
Brad.
it has made.
Yes, Brad.
You're not going to find a whole lot of differences between from Big Sur going to Monterey. There's a Focus has replaced Do Not Disturb, or actually it's an improvement on expanded Do Not Disturb. That comes to mind. There may be 1 or 2 other little things. There's no real accessibility differences between the two. Your 2012 MacBook Air is definitely long in the tooth, and you, I think, if could afford it, would find it well worth it to move to the new MacBook Airs. They're not only newer, they run on the M1 chip, and that'd be like going from a propeller plane to a supersonic jet. It'd be well worth your time if you can afford it, to well worth your money if you can afford it, to make that move, but you would find it to be a world of difference. As far as Big Sur to Monterey, not much difference. And I'm wasn't even aware that a 2012 would run Big Sur. So it's interesting that you've got it to run on it. I've loaned it to a friend, a 2012 MacBook Pro. I put Catalina on it, and I got to get him to bring it back because it's got some issues on it, and I may have to wipe it and take him back to Mojave. But
does the new MacBook Air have the touch bar?
No MacBook ever had the touch bar. No MacBook Air ever had the touch bar.
That's
and the new
good.
MacBook Pros do not have it either.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your question. And maybe some general computer cleanup might help. But yeah, it sounds like, I think just sometimes there may not be a lot of differences between Monterey and Big Sur. I just find some of the things are a bit more consistent, like Control Center, Notification Center. But you'd probably want to be updating more for the power and the specs of a new computer than for Monterey or Big Sur versus Monterey. So, excellent question. Who else would like to ask our next question?
Elisa?
Okay. Oh, was somebody else speaking?
This,
What?
this is Dan, but I'll defer.
No, go ahead,
Elisa.
Dan, because you haven't had a chance to ask yet. So go ahead.
Okay. I would very much like to read the lyrics in my music app. I have a bunch of music in there, and I'm unable to determine how to get it to read the lyrics. I found the lyrics button, and I can hit that, and I can voice over error around, and there's no lyrics to be found. So I'm doing something wrong somehow, and I've selected a track and then hit the lyrics button, and it'll just say no lyrics, and obviously there has to be. So I'm wondering if someone knows how to bring up the lyrics in the music app.
Just to clarify, you are using the music app?
Yes.
Okay. So getting lyrics to show in the music app. Does anyone have any idea?
It's Diane. I just have a point of clarification.
Sure. Go ahead, Diane.
Are you using the music app on the Mac or somewhere else?
On the Mac.
Okay. Well, I can't answer that one.
Who else does anyone else have an answer?
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
I've not used this feature before, and I know there are all kinds of little issues I've experienced with the music app. I'm not a tremendous fan of it. But I'm wondering if there's an accessibility problem here with it showing the lyrics. And you say you click on the button and then you navigate around and there's none to be found. Now, I don't know that you find an area where the lyrics are supposed to be and try interacting. And then I'm wondering, once you interact, is it like, a graphic that isn't accessible to voiceover is what I'm wondering.
That's an interesting point. Well, I have not found, you might be right about the accessibility. I did get the lyrics to work one time, and I'm not sure how I did it, actually. I've never found any place to interact with to get the lyrics. So
the suggestion I might add is this is Brad. Suggestion I might is if you have sighted assistants, or you can hold your phone up and use Be My Eyes or Ira. I use Ira on my Mac, and they're able to access all kinds of things using TeamViewer, and they're able to see it on their end. Now, they don't have the benefit of my screen reader on their end, so they're not going to be able to test that for you. But just simply holding up your camera, phone's camera, and letting them look at the screen, they should be able to tell you if there's something graphical there that VoiceOver is not letting you know is there.
Great idea. Thank you. I'll do that.
This is
Shri.
Darcy.
Okay, Shri, and then I think I heard someone else, but I
It
don't.
was Darcy.
Okay, so Shri and then Darcy.
Yeah, I would also suggest maybe contacting Apple Accessibility since it's a voiceover navigation issue. They may also walk you through it by screen sharing it.
Well, that's a good idea. Okay.
And Darcy?
Okay, so I missed the last little bit of what you guys were saying because I went and tried to do it myself. And I got a song playing, and I hit the lyrics button, and I went to the end of the screen, and there was a thing that said lyrics group. And I interacted with lyrics group, and then there was like another thing that was like scroll area, and I interacted with the scroll area, and I could see the lyrics.
There you go.
Perfect.
Okay.
So
So
there's
go
two
through that
levels of
again.
interaction for some reason, a
Yeah.
group and then a scroll area. So
Okay, so
It
go
was
through that
nested for
procedure
sure.
again, please.
okay, so you get a I don't know if you have to if it's like something you turn on and leave on. I just got a song playing. I found the lyrics button. I hit the lyrics button,
Okay,
and
well,
that
you got to
revealed.
pause the song first, right?
No, I didn't pause the song first. I just hit lyrics while it was playing.
Oh, okay.
I don't know whether that's necessary. I've never used lyrics on the Mac before, so this is simply the sequence that I did. I have no idea if it's the only sequence.
So you hit the song, then you hit the lyrics button, and then what?
And then at the end, if you move your VO to the end of the window or to like the last item, there was a thing that said lyrics group. And you interact with that with the lyrics group, and then it said scroll area, and then you interact with the scroll area, and the lyrics were there.
Okay, thank you. I'll do that because I remember lyrics group. I guess I just didn't go that far. So
yeah, sometimes for some reason, especially in the music app, which it definitely has its quirks. I'm sure we've all seen its quirks. But
I agree. Yeah,
there's a lot of sometimes you have to interact through multi levels of stuff just to get what you want. But they were there for me at least is all I can.
Great.
And they may stay on like that may be the kind of thing that once you revealed the lyrics, it's there for every song, or maybe you have to turn it on every time. I honestly have no idea, but that did work for me.
Great. Well, thank you. I'll do that.
Okay.
Excellent question. And another way to obtain access to visual information on the Mac that maybe VoiceOver doesn't see is a little program called VOCR that John Gunn, he submitted a demo of it for us. It's about 6 minutes long. And maybe we could, because we're kind of on the subject of visual information, we can go ahead and do that demo. Unless anyone has any questions right now. All right, well, I will go ahead and play his demo, and it's a really neat app. So,
This
you
is
have started
Shri.
computer audio share.
Yes, Shri, go ahead.
Is that a paid app or is it?
It is free. It is free.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Zero.
There we go.
Preview.
Oh, let me start this from the beginning. I thought it was at the beginning. There we go.
8620221823 vertical split document group.
Now I'm going to interact with the document group.
In document group, content is empty.
All right. There we go. Let's try that. Herbie did not tell me how to get this thing back to the beginning.
A optical character recognition program. Hello. My name is John Gunn. And today I'd like to demonstrate a optical character recognition program for the Mac. And it's called VOCR, Voice Over Character Recognition, but well anyway, it's VOCR. And it is written by a gentleman by the name of Chi Kim. He's an instructor, I think at Berkeley, because I think they had one on the East Coast. He's a programmer, but he's also an instructor. But he wrote this free program, and it really works out great. I'll explain a little bit more as we do it, but right now, I want to be in the document.
922001.
Well, that's not the one. A lot of stuff now are sent today in PDFs, but in those PDFs, an image is embedded. Well, you'll see right now, if I interact with this, well, I better bring it up here first.
92200.
There we go.
Preview 0017808486202218230. Vertical split document group.
Now I'm going to interact with the document group.
In document group, content is empty.
The content is empty. Now, I'm going to invoke VolCR by Control Shift Command and hit the letter W.
Finished.
And you can hear that say. Now I'm going to Command or Control Command down arrow.
I 001780848 page 1 of 001 UNYOASO. Cut along this line.
And this is explained. This is my amateur radio license, by the way. And you'll be able to figure out what my call sign is here in a little bit.
United States of America. Federal Communications Commission eGale licensee, amateur radio license for your wallet and for carefully cut the documents.
And that's where they're saying you can cut it. Well, that's pretty explanatory. But that's not what we're getting at.
WD9BCH along the lines as indicated, the Commission suggests that the wallet size version be laminated or another. Gun, John P. Similar document protection. 631 9th Avenue S. Process after sign. Wisconsin Rapids, Wisconsin, 54495-4117. Commission has found, under certain circumstances, laser print is subject FCC registration number. Special conditions,
Yeah, I'm going down.
endorsements, none. 5 This BUO TV1 Cox A0 grant date effective date print date expiration March 31st 2018 March 31st 2018 March 31st 2018 June 23rd 2028.
All right. So to exit this, I hit the escape key.
Exit VOCR navigation. Vertical document group.
And I'm going to interact with the document group again.
In document group, content is empty.
Content is empty. By George. So my point here, this is a image, embedded image in the PDF, and that's how we read it. Now, is it perfect? Of course not. But then it's not a perfect world. But it gives you some of an idea what's in this document. So a couple of things that I want to point out. Let me get out of preview here.
Finder, amateur window.
Yeah, let's see,
001780848.
Quiet now. Let me get out of this here.
Close all. Backups. Gun Macintosh 8.
When you install this, if you want to read character by character, you would do Shift Command or Control Shift Command and then right arrow. But that'll be all in the README when you download that. A couple of things that you want to make sure of. When you install the program, I would first of all copy the application to the applications folder, and then I would also put it under login items, so that's always running. And we know that by, if I bring up the extras menu.
Menu extras. Third control set text input menu. Third Skype. Dropbox CC. VO time machine.
Whoops.
VOCR. Menu extra. Finder.
And it doesn't take up any resources until you use it. And then, as I mentioned, put that under login items. And that's all you really need to do on that. Now, because of, and I'm using this on Big Sur, and it does work also on Monterey. One thing you want to, a couple of things you need to check though, to be on the safe side, is you need to make sure under System Preferences, Security, Privacy, and then your Privacy tab, make sure that VolCR is under Accessibility, full disk access, files and folders, and most important, under screen record. That's obviously, pretty important. So when you do that, I'm not going to show you how to add that, but I just wanted to point that out. So hope this helps out. And my contact information is gun, that's GUNN, at T as in Tango, Z as in Zulu, N as in November, E as in Echo, T as in Tango.com. So gun at tznet.com. Thank you, and I hope this works out.
Okay, so I'm great. Thanks for that demo, John. And maybe just kind of remind people where they can get it. And then I have a follow-up question for you, and maybe others do as well.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to bring up, where to get it. If you do a Google for VOCR GitHub, that's GITHUB, you'll have to kind of search around the website to get it, but that's where it is. And that's, I think the last time it was updated was actually March 21st or something like that of 2021, so a little over a year. But it works great. And the other thing I was going to say, I was going to send you the app completed, Chanelle, but if you're going to distribute that, you've got to include the license, and it's an executable. And Gmail does not like executables. I can't imagine why, but they're anal, and it is what it is. What it is. The other important thing I was going to add, and I should have, is when you're using VOCR, a lot of Macs come in with, for your voiceover keys, caps lock and control and option. For the life of me, I can't figure out why Apple does that. I really don't know. But you either got to use caps lock or control option. And Chanelle, you can explain that in your class. I'm sure you've already got to that point, but that's really important because you've got to, where you see the navigation. And it works both, whether either caps lock or control and option. So
yes, it does. Yep.
And you had a question.
Yeah. So have you used it to try to put focus on, like, I know somebody was talking about an app or something where, they had to click on things that weren't maybe accessible immediately with voiceover. Once you did recognize the text, that you could go to that text. So are you able to ever click on buttons in inaccessible apps?
Yes, you can. Good example. I've got, I use Pro Tools for my DAW, and I have a Presonus Fader Port 8, and I needed to update the drivers for it. Well, if you bring it up by itself, it'll say nothing. VoiceOver has, just empty.
Yep, no windows. Yeah.
So if you bring up, then I brought up VOCR, and I was able to update the drivers for it. So, and you can get to a click on the button, and VoiceSpace will in a lot of cases activate that button. So a long answer to your question, Chanelle, yes, you can.
Awesome. Great. Does anyone else have any questions? I thought we've touched on the subject here of OCRs and different things, so I just thought this would be a great demonstration, and thank you very much. So if there are no questions on this topic, does anyone have any questions on another topic?
Elisa?
Yes, Elisa?
Because I know I was waiting. I was like, I'll just wait. So the Mac has a built-in camera. Is that correct to use a Zoom account?
Yes, you don't have to have video enabled, but it does have a camera if you want to do that. Yes. Or, well, I should take it. Okay. If you're using a Mac laptop and somebody else can correct, I assume all Mac laptops have cameras.
Because this is my first time to use my Mac in a while.
Okay, then if yours. So is that your question? Just what does the Mac have a camera? Or
This is Sri.
This is John.
Yeah,
okay,
that's my question.
Shri and then John.
Yeah, I think the only one that doesn't have a camera is going to be a Mac Mini or any kind of just a plain desktop. But all the iMacs, I believe they all have cameras on this.
Yes.
Okay. And John?
What he said.
Okay, that's what I thought. All right. Awesome. And, you may want to get some sighted help. I found sometimes just tilting the computer really far back will give the greatest exposure to the camera. But anyway, good. What?
Of the ceiling, if you tilt it too far back.
Okay.
It's dead center, top of the screen, dead center. So you can kind of feel the top and with your arm and kind of envision that, you're pointing it right at your face and you'd be okay.
Okay.
And this is John.
Yes, John.
Of course, what you could do is you could hook up your iPhone, get in a Zoom, and have that be your camera. Then if you really want to drive somebody nuts, move the iPhone around.
Yeah, there you go.
It would make them a little dizzy. I would not suggest doing that. That was only a little joke there. But you could use that, but that's, what they said is, the camera on the top of the iMac or whatever.
Okay.
Or the MacBook Pro, same thing. Any MacBook.
Oh, this is Diane.
Yes, Diane.
I just wanted to, also tell her that if she's going to use Zoom on the Mac, that maybe get a set of headphones or use your AirPods or earpods, because sometimes the microphones, and depends on the room that you're using it in, you might get a lot of back echo and everything. So yeah, I think, you use some headphones with it, because it really gets me on these Zoom calls. And even a professional, the government Zoom calls, you get, it sounds like they're in the bathroom, using it.
Yeah.
So yeah, get a headset.
Definitely. Zoom does a good job blocking out a lot of noises, but you will sound much clearer with a headset. Agreed.
This is Sri.
Yes, Shri.
A question. Has anyone here worked with universal control on the Mac and the iPad?
Universal control.
I was going to ask the same question later, so I'm excited to hear if anyone has.
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
I have not, but just since this afternoon's call, I did the update on my seldom used iPad, and that is one of the things I wanted to try out. I listened to the Apple Insider podcast, as perhaps some others of you do, and they were talking about it this last week. And of course, they've been running beta, so they've been using it for a while. But I'm interested in trying it out. I'm not really sure, having my mouse go from one device to another, how useful that is, since I don't see very well, and most of us don't see at all. So, I don't know what other advantages there are to it. I mean, we've already had handoff, and I'm able to, copy things on one device and paste them, or open a app that's open on one device to another. So I'm really kind of wondering what benefit it is for me as primarily a voiceover user.
This is Darcy.
Yes, Darcy.
Okay, I'm wondering this. I'm also curious about universal control, but as I understand it, in addition to your mouse, the keyboard control can also go back and forth as well. So
correct. That's
you
true.
could potentially use one keyboard, like one keyboard to rule them all, basically. Like you could, but I'm really curious. I haven't heard so far anybody who's a voiceover user try and use this thing yet. So I don't even know if it is in fact possible, and what benefits it gives you. So I would also be really interested in hearing if anyone's done it.
So, just to clarify, for those of us who don't know, I mean, I've heard this term universal control, but I think you're saying, some of you are saying what it is basically a way where you can control your Mac from your iPad and your iPad from your Mac. Is that?
Yeah, basically, and basically the way it works is, if I understand it correctly, visually what happens is if you move your mouse, like say you have say you have the Mac in front of you, and let's say your iPad to your left, and I think I can figure out where spatially where these things are related to each other. Visually, it's almost like you're pushing your mouse through sort of a layer between, and then it pops out, from your computer and lands and goes onto the iPad, and then at that point you're using your trackpad and your keyboard and stuff to control the iPad. So, and you can also apparently, if you grab like files or text or whatever, you can kind of move them back and forth. And again, I have no idea if any of this stuff works with voiceover or if it's just visual. But yeah, it's a way of sort of controlling multiple. And apparently, even if you don't have an iPad, apparently you can do it with multiple Macs. Apparently, you can,
Okay.
if you've got multiple, you can control them with one keyboard. I think possibly. Actually, I don't know if you can do it with multiple iPads, but you can apparently do it with multiple Macs and like a combination of Macs and iPads.
This is Diane.
Yes, Diane.
So from what how I understand it, also, it's just like what Darcy said. If it related to like on a PC, if you have dual monitors and you work, because I had a coworker that did this. He did some work on one monitor and he did some work on another, but then he can move his mouse over to the other monitor, one mouse using the same, and control the applications that way. On the Mac, like you said, you can move your apps from one to another. So you're kind of treating it like a dual monitor. And yeah, some things will work and some things won't. Depends on what you're using. If it's an iPad or another Mac or,
Right.
yeah, some things will work. So that's how it is.
Okay, great. Well, for any of you who play with it, let us know, and maybe you can put together a demo or just come and talk about it for next Mac and Talk. It'd be great. With that, who would like to ask our next question?
This is Sonia.
Yes, Sandhya.
So I'm not sure how this is getting set up, but I'm now, whenever I get a notification that says, okay, you're gonna have a meeting in, like whatever, 10 minutes or whatever. And then I do I guess, what is it? VO and then command, and then I can then spacebar and then see the different options. And one of them is join the meeting or so forth. I mean, how is that getting set up? Have I done something to set that up? Or I mean, I know I joined like a calendar event. We've scheduled an event or a meeting. I'm just curious. That's all.
Yes, Brad, go ahead.
I see that a lot. Some of them get, when I add something to my calendar, and I tend to use the calendar on my iOS device because I just find it simpler than the one on the Mac. But I do get the calendar notifications on both of my Macs. And probably if I use that iPad, they'd show up on there too. They certainly show up on my watch too. But anyway, a lot of times in the location, where there's a, when you create a calendar event, there's a place for a location, and you can put the Zoom address, if it's a Zoom address, or well, Clubhouse, you won't have that on your Mac. I don't know about with the desktop. Well, I can't remember what it's called now.
Club Deck.
Yeah, thank you. But anyway, Zoom events for sure. They should. I put them in the address, even if I manually do them. I'll copy the URL and I'll put it in the link. But a lot of times, if I'm sent an invitation, that is in the location. So that's where they're coming from.
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
You're welcome. Did you need help figuring out like how to, or once you get them, you're pretty much able to act on them? You're just kind of wondering why you got them.
Like, where are they coming from? Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Great question.
This
is Kim.
Okay, Sandhya, go ahead.
I'm sorry, one more quick question. How do you, this is very basic, like if you're on a website, what's the quickest way to go to the very top? Is it Command up arrow or Command
This is
F?
Brad.
Brad?
On your laptop, use VOFN and the left arrow. When you hold down the FN, the left arrow becomes home. So basically you're doing VO home. Now sometimes you're nested and it only takes you to the top of a section, upper left of a section, in which case you can, stop interacting. And sometimes I end up having to completely stop interacting with the whole web page, but barring any special stuff like that in a web page, VO Home should take you to the top left corner of a web page.
All right.
I frequently find I have to do VO Shift Home on a web page to get there. So if VO Home doesn't work, try what Brad said in interacting, or you can also try VO Shift Home. That really works for me.
I will try that too.
Thank you.
All right, and I think Kim had a comment or question.
I'm just going to comment on the lady that said, where's all this stuff coming from? I have realized that the notifications that I get on my iPhone are now going to my Mac.
Yeah.
Because I'll be trying to read something and all of a sudden it'll say Clubhouse notification. I'm like, get out of here. So I guess it crosses over whether you want it to or not. I don't know if there's a way to stop that, but I just kind of hit control and tell it to be quiet.
Okay, that's an excellent question. Can you stop notifications from your iPhone from appearing on your Mac? I think that's kind of what you're asking, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Who would like to answer that question?
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie?
So the only time I've noticed simultaneous notifications appearing is if it's something universal like messages or calendar or whatever. But you do have a couple of options because your notification settings on the Mac are not, as far as I've been able to tell, tied to your iPhone. So if you set notifications a certain way on your Mac, that should not affect the iPhone version. Like if you turn calendar notifications off on your Mac, I do believe they still remain on your iPhone. Another thing you can do, you can set focus modes not to share across devices, and so you could set it for your Mac to where focus mode is enabled, where you don't get any notifications, and it won't affect your phone. You have to go into notifications and focus to uncheck the box. But I don't think your notification settings on the Mac affect the ones for the phone. Where it could be a problem is, like, say, Twitter is a third-party app that will, if you customize notification settings within the app itself, those work across, like, those do transfer between wherever you have the apps. But if you were to adjust notifications within the settings on your Mac and not within the app, then that would just affect your Mac. So
okay, so on my Mac, where is focus? Is that system preferences or?
That is system preferences, and it's called notifications and focus. Notifications is one tab, focus is another tab.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, awesome. Well, and so I was trying to figure out how to dismiss a FaceTime notification. I had to do it on my iPhone, but that's a whole other question. Who would like to ask our next question?
John.
Yes, John?
Herbie, this is going to be really a simple one for you. Are you using a stereo mic? What is it?
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
Yep, I am using a Blue Yeti stereo mic. Just one thing though, I do need to caution you about: if you get it for the Mac, you will need a USB-C to USB-A hub. I have yet to find a direct USB-C cord for this thing, but you
That
can find
sounds
it out.
good.
Yep,
Well,
you can find it
I've
on
got,
Amazon. It's about $119, and you can find it elsewhere. It's the Blue Yeti.
yeah, I've got the OWC dock, and it's got USB-C-A to USB-C whatever. But it
Okay.
sounds great. It really. So you were coming in through Windows?
Nope, I'm on my Mac.
Okay.
But it works on both. The mic is plug and play, but it works on both systems.
Right. Okay. It sounds good. I know we're off topic, but it sounds darn good.
Yep. But it works
This is
just fine
Shree.
on the Mac. You plug it in and it works.
Okay, Shree, go ahead.
A question, Herbie. You said it's a hub, so would the adapter work also, or do you need to have a hub?
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
So I'm going to speak on more general terms. So I have played with both a USB-C to USB-A adapter and a USB-C to USB-A hub. I personally have found the hub to be more stable. I've had issues where the adapter would just more easily get unplugged. So that's why I personally recommend a hub over an adapter.
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
On adapters, I'll say one thing I have learned. There is a difference in the third-party adapters you buy, even the name brands, one like Anchor, versus the adapters you buy from Apple. The adapters you buy from Apple actually are USB-A to Thunderbolt adapters, whereas the adapters you buy other places, well, are USB-A to USB-C. And I have found instances where the third-party ones from Amazon don't always work. My wife has a USB-C, a USB older Apple USB keyboard that has a USB-A, and she prefers to use that on her M1 Mac versus the nice Apple, Magic extended Bluetooth keyboard with Touch ID sensor, because she just prefers the feel of that other one. I had it plugged into her Mac with a Anchor adapter, and sometimes it doesn't work, particularly in the middle of an update. It wants her to type in her password in the middle of the update, and the Anchor never would work. I had to switch it, and once I switched her to the $20 Apple adapter, it works every time. I don't know what it is. There's something in there.
Yep, generally it is the Apple stuff is the best. You get what works with your phone. It might be a little bit more, or your Mac, it might be a little bit more expensive, but yeah. Great. Does anyone else have another question, comment?
Bumi.
What?
Bumi has a question.
Okay, Bunmi, go ahead.
So I find that I'm unable to permanently remove system preferences and voiceover utilities from the dock. Every time I remove them from the dock, the next time I do anything with system preferences or voiceover utilities, they return to the dock. Is there a way I can permanently remove them?
Great question. How do you permanently remove an app from the dock?
This is Darcy.
Yes, Darcy.
Just to clarify, you have closed voiceover utility or system preferences with Command Q, right? Like it's not running anymore, and it's still in the dock. Okay, that's really interesting.
It from the dock, and the next time I have anything to do with them, they return.
Okay, because that's really interesting. Because your dock obviously shows you the things that are currently running, plus the things that you've put there. But generally speaking, if you actually go into the dock options and remove it from dock, it should stay removed. This
is John.
Yes, John.
I've experienced the same thing. If I install a program or uninstall it, and then if I restart, that uninstaller is still on the dock. So I've seen the same thing on Big Sur and Monterey as well.
Okay, it sounds like, though, that once you open the program back up, even if you have removed it from the dock, it's going to temporarily show in the dock because you're using it. And then once
it'll and you're right, it'll be in the dock, but if you close the program out it does stay in the dock until you
Mm,
remove it. Yep, I've seen that before too.
okay.
That is
That's
odd.
weird.
That's really odd because I've just actually just removed something from the dock not long ago, and it's gone. So I don't know whether there's a glitch where that happens sometimes, but that's definitely not normal behavior for
No,
sure.
I wouldn't think it would be neither, but yep,
No, no.
I've seen it.
Yeah, that's really odd.
Okay, well, I'm sorry, Bunmi,
This
we
is
don't.
Michelle.
Oh, wait a
Okay,
minute.
Michelle.
Actually, oh, I'm
Or
sorry.
okay, Michelle and then
Yeah.
Darcy.
Yes, I wanted to comment. Forgive me. Hold on a second. I'm sorry. I want to comment. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry.
Is
I
it on
want to.
this topic?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It sounds like to me you are removing an app and then it's not deleted. You want to delete it, but instead it still show up in the doc somewhere. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, she's just trying to remove it from the dock. She's not trying to delete an app. Just remove it from the dock, but it doesn't want
Oh,
to go away. So it's, it acts like it's removed, but then it keeps coming back. That's all.
okay.
So Darcy, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just thinking about something, and I checked in the dock and, um, what is it? Dock and menu bar preference pane, and there is a thing in there that says show recent items on dock, and I wonder if you've
Yeah,
maybe got that checked.
that's
Oh,
it.
I should check that and
Yeah,
see.
I bet that's what's going on.
Okay.
Excellent troubleshooting there. Good job. Okay. Yeah, just
Thank
make
you.
sure to uncheck it. And then hopefully that'll help. Excellent. All right. We do work as a team here. So great. Thanks so much. And good question, Bunmi. And now, if I have the same issue, I'll know what to do. So great. Who would like to ask our next question?
This is Jesse.
Jesse, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm going to be getting a new Mac, and so I'm going to be going from the top OS of Catalina, the
Oh,
current
wow.
OS. So, any advice or caveats from anybody?
This is Herbie.
Yes,
Yeah.
Herbie?
Okay, so messages is going to be the most different change with the two systems. There's some differences with mail as well, but messages I think is like the most noticeable difference with how that works with Catalina versus Monterey. A little difference with FaceTime, but it's now become a lot more stable with this latest Monterey, so that's not as big of a deal now. Some extra things in accessibility, like, image description for voiceover, which really doesn't do much. Another issue you're going to run into if you use a Siri voice, get ready for double speak, as sometimes you'll hear in certain dialogues it's speaking twice. It can get a bit annoying, but I've dealt with the annoyance and kept with my preferred Siri voice. So,
This is Brad.
Brad, and music app is a little bit different as well. Go ahead, Brad.
Yeah, go ahead, Brad.
One of the big things you said, you're going from Catalina to what, either Big Sur or Monterey. One of the big difference is how you address notifications that may pop up on your upper right corner of your screen.
Yes.
To get to once you still can use VO in for notifications and select a notification from the menu that pops up. But once you have focus on that, you're not going to be able to get rid of it the way you used to. You're going to have to use the what is the item chooser, VO command spacebar, to open a little menu to select the different actions. It's actions. What is it? Actions menu.
Actions menu.
Yes.
Thank you. To choose the things that I use it every day, but apparently I can't remember what things are called. Anyway, you'll need to use VO spacebar to address these notifications so that you can dismiss them, can't close them, whatever the different options are. You can't do it the way you did in Catalina and before.
And you may find it easier to use VOO. I mean, VON works great provided that, the thing hasn't gone away or, other things. But VOO, and then once you're in there, VO command space.
This is Herbie.
Yes, Herbie.
Another important thing to get used to with Big Sur / Monterey is the brand spanking new control center. We do not have that in Catalina, which you access with VO Shift O. Another thing you're going to get used to is now we have the focus modes the way we do in iOS, as I was talking about in the system preferences. Are you getting a laptop or a desktop?
Yeah, it's going to be a MacBook Pro, a laptop.
So another thing you're going to get used to then is it's no longer going to be energy saver. All your power settings are going to be under battery and system preferences.
Okay.
Excellent.
So, wow, great. So, I heard something about something called Rosetta. Is that something I'll be using?
This is Brad.
Yes, Brad.
Rosetta is an interpreter that allows you to run applications written for an Intel Mac on your M1 Mac. If, for example, before you got here, we were talking about the downloading the Zoom app, and that there are two versions: one for regular Mac and one for M1 Macs. And if you try to run the Intel version on your Mac, you will be prompted on your M1 Mac. You will be prompted one time. An alert will pop up asking you that this app requires Rosetta. Do you want to download it? You say, yeah. The Mac downloads it from Apple, and you never see it again. Just Intel applications. Applications that were written for Intel will just run on it, and you never know the difference.
Okay.
But there's a lot of things now. Or, I had to do that when I got my M1 MacBook Pro in order to run Dropbox, but now Dropbox has updated to a version for M1. I encountered it when I downloaded my wife got an M1 iMac back in the summer, first one I'd ever messed with. And I was putting Zoom on it, and that popped up, and I went, wait a minute. I went back to the Zoom website and downloaded the version for M1. But that's what that is. One other thing I was going to mention, I was sitting here looking in the VoiceOver utility for it. Beginning with Big Sur, there's this new thing when VoiceOver is running to let you know when there's an alert on the screen.
Yep.
Like one of these notifications we're talking about, because people without vision can't see that little thing in the screen, and you wouldn't know it's there. So there's this beep that goes off every few seconds, maybe every 30 seconds or every minute or something. And I'm trying to remember where it is in VoiceOver.
It is in verbosity and announcements.
Thank you. And announcements, of course.
Yep. We were just on that last
and
week.
You want to turn, and unless you like that persistent thing beeping at you, I have a little vision, so I'm able to see these things in the screen. But people with no vision may appreciate this notification, but that's where it is. And that's new beginning in Big Sur. And many people, what's this beep? It keeps doing it. That's what that beep is.
So that's saying, dismiss, read and then dismiss it. So,
it's letting you know there's something on the screen, either a notification or perhaps a system dialogue is sitting there. Something, it's alerting you that there's something there that you need that you should take action on.
So how do you get VoiceOver to access that so you can dismiss it?
Like what Brad was saying. Oh, go ahead, Brad.
Well, it's just letting you know it's there. So what I do, there's a couple of ways. I'm a fan. I know that if it's on the screen, I tend to just do VON, and a menu pops up, and I can up and down arrow. There's usually like only one thing in it, but there may be two. But it tells you if there's a notification. If I don't find it in there, I do VOF1 and then do F1 a second time and go through my running applications, and that'll tell me if there's a system dialogue. And then I find that, and then I put my focus on the system dialogue, and I deal with those the usual way. But the notifications that pop up in the upper right corner of your screen are what once you put focus on them, you have to use the actions menu, VO command spacebar to close them. And then the beep stops.
This is Darcy.
John with a follow-up when you're done with
Okay,
this.
Darcy and then John, and we only have 2 minutes, so those will be the last two on this. Darcy?
Okay, I was just going to say very quickly, one thing I would suggest you do if you're, especially if you're jumping more than one OS when you get your new Mac, is you really want to just open up VoiceOver Utility and just kind of go through it. Just go through all the different sections, and then not only will you see what's new, but then you can make sure you've got everything customized the way you want. Like, it's always a good idea to do that anytime there's an OS update, just to see what's new in VoiceOver and just get it customized.
Excellent.
The way, and I think every page in VoiceOver does have the help thing you can bring up, and it'll explain it to you if it's not self-evident on each screen. But it's just a good thing to do.
Perfect. Yes, that's a great way to get accustomed. And John.
This is for Darcy. I did check my recent, and that is unchecked regarding the dock. So, and a long time since we've kind of communicated since the old Leopard days, beta.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's where I remember you from. I was trying to remember what I knew. I recognized the name, and I recognized, but I couldn't remember from where. But yeah, okay, that's a puzzler then. I don't know what's going on there with the dock thing. That's a strange one.
I don't know. Maybe I'll just go to the terminal, just kill dock. I don't know.
Well, you could.
This is Jesse.
Yes, Jesse.
Thanks for that. I appreciate it, guys, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. Now what to do when you get a beep thingy and nothing shows up in any of those places? That's another question for another day. Thanks so much, everyone, for coming. This has been great. Thanks, John, for your demo. And we will see you back here. Don't forget about our Mac and Talk list for any follow-up questions, our website, and much, much more. So thank you, and we'll talk to you later.